Hello, it's Sunday sermon time. I am not a trained religious leader nor a trained spiritual leader, however, I am a trained artist. We spend a lot of time transforming all kinds of energy, absorbing it, and then putting it out there in forms of beauty, intrigue, or other. So let's get down to it. Interconnection. Okay, that's what we're the theme for this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, depending where you are. Interconnection. I came to interconnection. You might notice it's in my art. I talk about it. I say that's what my art is about, but I'm not going to talk about my art. I'm going to talk about hitchhiking, because that's where I discovered interconnection, that we're all connected. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that specifically. Hitchhiking in Europe in my early 20s. And I would just put my thumb out and get a ride. That's not true. I would actually write on a sign where I wanted to go to the next southern place, or western or eastern, when I was heading in that direction. Now, if any of you have hitchhiked, you know it can be kind of, you don't go from point A to point B. You kind of take this circuitous route, and you might actually end up in the opposite direction of where you wanted to go. Like me, I wanted to go to Portugal. I ended up in Paris. It just happens that way. And from Paris, I went to Germany and then to Prague. Okay, but that's not what this is about. What it's about is having the sensation that I was in a vehicle, not the car, but the body. That there was some little drip of energy in me that was motivating me to go through space, or it was just watching me go through space. I don't know. But it was slightly separate from me, and it was basically some kind of an energy that could have just as easily been in any other person who I met along the way. At that time, I wasn't thinking it could be in rocks and earthworms. I'm not even sure I think that now. But it was the feeling that, I guess in more practical terms, so for example, a woman with a very crowded, packed car, and even a couple kids picked me up. So I was in the back with a little kid and a whole bunch of stuff. And but I took the role of being like an older sister or a babysitter or someone who was, playing games with this kid. So then I took on a role that was suited to the occasion. And I was connecting to these people. In another ride, it was an older couple actually picked me up, which is rare, but it was an older couple. I guess they thought, gosh, what is this crazy young woman doing out on her own? So I got protected. I was picked up by this grandparents. And then it wasn't like chameleon. It just made sense that I was connecting to them in as broken French as I could. But I felt like a grandchild. And it was because there was a role taking place and a role playing. But it just kind of, you fit into your spaces where you are. And it was because I was in this body and I was having this experience in relationship to these other bodies that were also being animated. I may be losing you. Who knows? Stick with me. Let's see where we go. So as time went by and this was happening more often, it became more, I just felt more so that I could have been dripped into any other body. I remember even discussing this with one of the African students in Prague. I could just as easily been him and having his experience as he could be having my experience. I'm not sure it works like that. I don't know how it works. I'm not coming with answers. I'm coming with experiences and reflections and observing. And I am talking to you because as an artist, we get to step back and think about things. It's not the greatest paid job, but it has some perks. And one of the perks is you think, you reflect, you step back. So, yeah, I was making art while I was hitchhiking. But it was also that nature of stepping back and observing, who am I? What's happening? I was also completely outside of my language, of my culture, and also of any type of, what do you call it? Like schedule. No, it's a word I forget a lot. Schedule. I believe in systems, not schedules. Schedules get me whatever. We'll save that for another video. So I wasn't in a school system. I wasn't in a working system. I was outside of it. So I could slow down and think. And there's the randomness of the hitchhiking. So when you're completely outside of it, I being completely outside of it, was able to think a little bit and feel something so strongly that was just, this body we have is a vehicle. And the energy in it that animates it could actually be anybody's. We could be anybody. We could be somebody else, which could directly bring you to compassion, could bring you to empathy, could bring you to understanding the other, knowing that just as easily, if you had a different body, having a different experience, you would be a different person. This originally was being thought about as a indivisibility lecture, sermon, whatever, but I don't think I want to go there right now. I just want you to sit with that. Try to get quiet. At the time, I wasn't meditating. I just made art. But I was able to tap into that. And I think you are too. You're able to tap into that energy that motivates you. You have to get quiet and put yourself outside of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I have to be getting the groceries. I have to be making the meals. I have to pay the bills. These things eat away at our ability to just connect to ourselves and recognize the deep connection we actually have with the other. You could just as easily be that other person as you are yourself. So let's get a little bit more connected, a little bit less disconnected, a little bit less competition, a little bit less the other is our enemy. We could just as easily be that enemy. You want to keep your enemy closer? Just recognize that they're you and you're them. I don't know how this is going to sit with you. It sounds a little bit out there. And it looks like my subtitles might be drastic. But, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, stay connected. Above all, stay connected to yourself. Okay, get quiet. Hear it. Create. Creating things gets you connected. Meditating gets you connected. Walking in nature gets you connected. Putting a piece of paper in front of yourself and making marks, any marks, get you connected. All right. It feels good to be connected. So there you go. That's my Sunday morning sermon for you. Take it easy. Stay connected. Lots of love. Ciao.